Almost everyone dreams of traveling the world, but not most people get to experience the joys of traveling out of their home state, let alone the country. Hello, I will be sharing with you my trip to Ireland, Wales, and England. I spent 9 days over there with my Aunt Carol just 2 months after I graduated high school. I've been to many states. I have visited many places like Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Denver, but nothing will ever compare to the 9 days that I spent overseas. Going to Ireland, Wales, and England let me experience a whole different part of the world. I got to experience new cultures and meet many different people. My Aunt Carol had promised me a trip to anywhere in the world after I graduated high school. I picked Ireland because of its beauty. While in Ireland, we got to see many different things. And while we were in Wales, we got to eat in a castle. And in London, we got to see many different landmarks. This trip made me realize how big the world is and how many different people there are in the world. And it made me realize that I want to travel the world and see more. My aunt had promised me a trip to anywhere in the world for my graduation present, and I knew that I wanted to go to Ireland. There is something about the Irish accent that had me drawn to the country, and I was obsessed with the movie P.S. I Love You at the time, which takes place mostly in Ireland. On August 11, 2012, we set off on our journey, from Milwaukee to Atlanta, and from Atlanta to Ireland. The moment I stepped foot in that country, I knew I was going to fall in love with it. Little did I know that London would steal my heart for the win. First, we journeyed from Dublin to Southern Ireland with a group of 27 people from all around the United States of many different ages. Their age range was from 18 to 80. While we were in Ireland, we traveled around the Ring of Kerry. We saw beautiful scenery. We saw castles. We saw rainbows. We kissed the Blarney Stone. We saw green grass for miles, and it was beautiful. After a few days in Ireland, it was time to say goodbye. We were on to our next adventure, so we boarded a ferry to Wales. On the ferry, we watched movies, gossiped, we played cards, and even the most daring of us went on top of the ferry and to take pictures of the beautiful Irish Sea. When we arrived in Wales, we headed off to the castle. I felt like a princess, eating dinner in a castle. After 1 day in Wales, we traveled to England. In England, we saw the Roman baths in Stonehenge. These two places have much history, and they are also beautiful. Unfortunately, our trip was coming to an end, and there was just one more stop. London. I wasn't all that excited to go to London. I wanted to be back in Ireland. But I put on my iPod, turned on London Foolishly by Nick Jonas, ironically, and then we set off to London. The moment I saw London, I was in love with the city. We saw the Olympic rings on the Tower Bridge because the Olympics had just ended. We saw the London Eye, we saw the Queen's House, and we saw the Globe Theatre. But my favorite landmark was Big Ben. There's just something about Big Ben that is beautiful. And I'll never forget standing outside, staring at that big clock tower. Seeing many places that I've never seen before made me realize that there's a whole other world out there. There are so many different people around the world. I also realized that there are so many things in life that I need to experience, and places I need to see. For the longest time, I had dreamed to move to London, and sometimes I still want to live in London. I know that I will never forget the 9 days I spent overseas. I made new friends, and I made memories that will last a lifetime. Sometimes I look at my pictures from the trip, and I want to pack up my bags and go right back. One day I plan to return to Ireland, Wales, and most importantly, London. I would like to create more memories there, and I would like to experience more than just 2 days in London. But I also want to experience different places in the world. There is a beautiful painting of Big Ben that hangs on my bedroom wall. Every day, the painting reminds me of that trip. Traveling is a passion of mine, and I want to travel the world. And I know that if I did travel the world, nothing would ever beat my trip to Ireland, Wales, and London with my aunt. I know that I will never forget the trip that my aunt had given me for my graduation present. It's one of the best presents I have ever received. From castles to stones, from green grasses to clock towers, the beauty from Ireland, Wales, and London will forever be etched in my head. The cultures, the food, the accents, the history. I learned so much about the Irish and so much about the British. I got to interact with different people, not only from Ireland and London, but also from people around the United States. I learned about their cultures and their backgrounds. I learned how they lived their lives over in Ireland and London, and it was unforgettable. I will never forget the 9 days that I spent overseas with my Aunt Carol when I was just 18 years old. Thank you for letting me reminisce on the greatest adventure in my life so far. I hope that one day you too can travel to a place and have the time of your life.